from IT. For example, I was watching a video. There, a person who was a biomedical engineer, with the help of an IT person, he made an incubator in which a child who is born, who is I think 1 month or 2 month old,
Okay.
who can be put into that incubator, and that incubator can detect a specific problem the child is facing.
Allah
For example, he can
Akbar.
identify the type of cry. For example, if a child is crying softly or slowly,
Yeah.
it means.
How the career counseling is important, for the nation as a whole.
So I think that's why career counseling is very good for the whole nation, because if every person contributes to the society will grow. And a beautiful thing we have, that most of our population is youth.
See, when a person like you is a teenager, you know the importance of this career counseling. What's the reason that our government is not taking it serious?
Our government is not stable. There's a lot of politics behind going on. They cannot implement law and order because of lack of power, lack of transparency in the elections. And if a non-elected, if a conspired government, or if a faulted government comes into power, they cannot make policies correctly, because they have not qualified people. They have people who are not on merit in the government. So that's why they can't focus on that specific thing.
See, how is this industrialization important, for any country?
Industrialization is very, very important. If a country, because if a country does not have industries, how can.
If the children, I mean the teenagers, they are guided properly from today, if they are guided properly the way you think now, what are the possible changes you can imagine in the society in the days to come, in the years to come?
First of all, if they are guided properly, they will get into that field which they love.
Yeah.
And if they get into that field which they love, they will work. They will not waste time. So first benefit we will get, that people will become civilized and focused and determined. That's the first benefit.
Excellent.
Now let's move on. The second benefit,
that the second portion, it is based on that the Q card. I'm sure your concept of
Yes.
Q card is clear.
yes, sir. So the mobile phone has brought easiness to people's life. People are now educating themselves, earning money.
You use the word change. What's your concept of change?
Change means creating something new or refining something, some previous thing. Change means a transition from. So there are many aspects. These two, I think, these two reasons. That one is that our mind does not like to get out of the comfort zone, and the second is religious aspect. I think that's these are the main reasons why people resist the change.
Okay, impressive, mashallah. How is this the university education different from rest of all the educational institutions?
And that things provide the environment, basically, where a highly educated person interacts with the students, and that interaction creates understanding, and that understanding is basically the plus point of the universities as compared to schools and colleges.
What can the universities do for the prosperity, development and growth of the country?
In this time, I believe the only change we can get is from the universities, because universities already have developed a better structure than schools and colleges. So that's why skills are important, and now universities are contributing to a skillful society, and that's a good thing. University must continue to play such a role, so our society, so college and school students should also get education from them.
Excellent. Again, very interesting talk. That we can even prolong it for hours, because you are very creative, mashallah. But keep in mind that speaking portion, speaking test, it requires 4 points. You're familiar with them?
Yes, sir.
What's your age?
I am 17.
17. You know that from 13 to 19, this period of age is called teenage.
Yes, sir.
And the people who are having this age, teenage, they are known as teeners or teenagers.
Yes.
What is clear?
Yes, sir.
Teeners or teenagers. What are the problems which the teenagers face?
I think in Pakistan, the teenagers face a variety of problems. We can enumerate the problems, we can enlist the problems one by one, and specifically, I'm speaking of myself, I think the main problem I'm facing is my planning for my future, for which field I should choose. The conditions of Pakistan nowadays, this society doesn't provide much jobs for the people. There's no merit for the occupation of jobs in government doesn't support the youth. The IT industry is not succeeding as much as the IT of other countries. So I think the first problem the teenage face is that they are not basically guided well to what they want to do in the future. They are not given much counseling. There are not counseling sessions, and if there are some counseling sessions, they don't guide that good advice. They don't give that good advice. One person is guiding hundreds of students in colleges, in school. I think that's not counseling. That's you say just a session, a useless session. You can't say anything. So I think this is the first problem. The future problems. The students doesn't know what to do in the future. They get graduated. Some people choose medical fields, but they don't know. They don't even love medical fields. They just go in this field from the pressure of their parents.
Yeah.
Some fathers or parents have a wish that their son should be a doctor.
Yeah.
Even though the son hates medical field, even he hates human body, he can't see blood, and he is going in the medical field.
True.
So that's the first problem. And the second problem is, parents, the parents specifically are less educated and they have less resources. Less resources is a problem because the world is progressing so fast. People have so much. The world has advanced a lot, and nowadays the parents have to earn money, and for earning money they send their children to work at a little age. They don't get proper education, and if they will not get proper education, how can they perform in the society? So these two are the main problems. That's it.
That's it. See, you were talking about career counseling. How the career counseling is important, for the nation as a whole.
For the nation is very important, because if every person is important to the nation, if one person gets into the right direction, he can teach many hundred people. So if you teach everyone, every person will contribute to the society, and if every man and woman contributes to the society, then obviously the country will grow very fast, much rapidly, like China is doing. They have a great counseling session. Their children know what they are want for, what the special qualities they possess. For example, the children who are good in sports from a very little age, the government basically sends a career counselor for them, and he identifies the good qualities in that child basically. So that child is told that you have this quality, you can feel yourself as well, you are good in sports, you are good in this particular thing, and now that child is now sent to that particular thing. And he basically, obviously, when a person loves the things he do, he will show you much better results than a person who doesn't even know why he is here. So I think that's why career counseling is very good for the whole nation, because if every person contributes to the society will grow. And a beautiful thing we have, that most of our population is youth. There are many people who are in their 20s and from teenagers, or are in their 20s or late 30s.
Yeah.
But I think we have many people from 20 to 40. They have the potential to change the society.
Yeah.
If they are guided correctly.
Excellent. You were just highlighting the role of government, to some extent. See, when a person like you is a teenager, you know the importance of this career counseling. What's the reason that our government is not taking it serious?
Our government is not stable. There's a lot of politics behind going on. They cannot implement law and order because of lack of power, lack of transparency in the elections. And if a non-elected, or if a conspired government, or if a faulted government comes into power, they cannot make policies correctly, because they have not qualified people. They have people who are not on merit in the government. So that's why they can't focus on that specific thing. Career counseling is a thing that is very subtle. It's very unique. It's requires a lot of attention. It requires a lot of qualified people. And if you are not recruiting people on merit, how can you have such teachers, such persons which can change minds of others?
Excellent.
So that's why government, I think, lack of transparency in elections, and then lack of merit jobs is the reason. That's why they are not career counseling the students.
True. See, you were talking about that industrialization, especially that keeping that IT in view. You touched this point as well. See, how is this industrialization important for any country?
Industrialization is very, very important if a country, because if a country does not have industries, how can he export things? He will have to import things, and when imports rise the exports, they will the country will be in debt. For example, you can consider the example of our country, Pakistan. We have a lot of raw materials, but we do not have industries, and that raw material is directly sent to China, America, or European developed nations who have a lot of big industries, and that thing produced from our raw materials is brought back to Pakistan in a very high price. Even our common man cannot afford that. So that's why industrialization is very important. And if you are specifically talking about IT,
Yeah.
IT, information technology, is it's a soul of every industry.
Yeah.
Everything, every raw material who needs to be processed is can be done by IT. We have built a lot of big machines from IT. For example, I was watching a video. There a person who was a biomedical engineer, with the help of an IT person, he made an incubator in which a child who is born, who is I think 1 month or 2 month old,
Okay.
who can be put into that incubator, and that incubator can detect a specific problem the child is facing.
Allah
For example, he can
Akbar.
identify the type of cry. For example, if a child is crying softly or slowly,
Yeah.
it means he has this specific kind of problem. If he's crying loudly, it means he needs attention. So that's that's very revolutionary thing. From IT, we can talk from here to every corner of the world. If we tell the person 1,000 years ago, for example, in 1080, if I tell a person that from after 1,000 years we can see the persons for thousands of kilometers away from while sitting at our home, he would say it is a miracle. It cannot happen. But now, because by the help of IT, we can do these things.
Excellent. No, see, whatever the worries you have as a teenager that you are not being that counseled properly, government is not helping as that it should that help the teenager, the country is not being industrialized and so on. The point I want to understand, and I wish that you should throw light on it, that as you can. I firmly believe that you can. If the children the teenagers, they are guided properly from today, if they are guided properly the way you think now, what are the possible changes you can imagine in the society in the days to come, in the years to come?
First of all, if they are guided properly, they will get into that field which they love.
Yeah.
And if they get into that field which they love, they will work. They will not waste time. So first benefit we will get, that people will become civilized and focused and determined. That's the first benefit.
Excellent.
Now let's move on. The second benefit, there will be a money circulation. When they get into the proper business in which they want to, or the field in which they want to, they will spend money. They will take money. There will be money circulation. People will not store money. They will not be jobless. They will have something to work on. And the third benefit, our country will get the benefit, our future generations will get the benefit. If we, because we are teenagers, we will inshallah become parents in after some years, so we can teach the next generation which was not teach to us in our early days. And now better evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is basically natural adaptation to the best, selection of the best. Evolution is always selection for the best, and in society the person who succeeds is the one who is always the best. So we can make ourselves and our generation best, and we can hopefully take our country out of this crisis, this political crisis, financial crisis, and people are becoming uncivilized because they are not into the field in which they wanted to be. So yes, there could be a revolution in our country if we are guided properly.
Excellent. Now, about that I could continue this conversation, very meaningful.
Thank you.
But as time is not there, see, that I speaking test has 3 portions.
Yes.
And the first portion, just I practice with you. That the second portion, it is based on that the cue card. I'm sure your concept of cue card is clear.
Yes, sir.
And that whenever this portion 2 starts, what happens that soon after getting the cue card from the examiner, you will be having, that 1 minute for brainstorming.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And what is to be brainstormed? That you to look at that line, the point which is over there on the cue card, and there are 3 to 4 points. I mean the sub question, no?
Yes, sir.
Keeping all these points, you to write, some keywords, so that you can speak on that, no? So you will be having 1 minute, no? As 1 minute, duration is over, the examiner will ask, to speak for 2 minutes, no? And while speaking, keep in mind that you to ensure again the fourth thing, that you are naturally a speaker. There must be coherence, cohesion, and complexity in your talk.
Yes, sir.
So you are ready for the second portion?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I need a pen.
Just a minute. The cue card. Your cue card number is 3. Cue card number
3. Yes.
3. So you will be having, that 1 minute for brainstorming. Your time starts now. Time is up. No, you will be having
2 minutes.
2 minutes, no, to speak on this topic.
Yes, sir.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Your time starts now.
In this world, we are living very far away from the people. People are living in various countries. The world has become a global village, and that global village, the world which has become now, is due to telephone. So telephone is an invention that changed the world. This telephone, the basically was invented by Graham Bell. So he invented telephone, and that was just basic. It could transmit voice only a few meters or kilometers, but that telephone was the basic idea which now has evolutionized the world. In just a piece of metal, or piece of metal with some steel in it and some silicone in it, that piece of metal now can change the world. People can teach themselves. Even full university offers their full courses on a mobile phone. That first Android mobile phone was invented, basically produced by Motorola company, and then this transformed into an Android phone in 2008 or 11, you can say. Now various companies produce mobile phones, but this mobile phone was basically, that idea was taken from telephone, or you can say a dialer phone, in which we can dial numbers. We can only talk to each other, but nowadays we can see faces of each other. We can talk to thousands of kilometers away. We can even talk to, we can even see the portions of the world where we cannot go. For example, if someone wants to see Makkah or Medina, he can just, every time it is live transmitting from Makkah and Medina, we can just use our mobile phone to see that. So the mobile phone has brought easiness to people's life. People are now educating themselves, earning money. Mobile phone has become a very great source for earning money for people. People can even the people can earn money from homes. Even the ladies, because of our religious and traditional norms, they can't go outside because people don't like that in our society. So now it is very easy for them just spend their free time on mobile phone earning money. We can learn different courses, and then we can use that education for earning money.
Continue, please.
It is an evolutionary thing that has made lives of people very easy. Not only specific age group, but every age group, from children to adults and even old people. That's it.
Really impressive, mashallah. We are moving to the third portion, and third portion shall be based on the talk which you will give over there, during the second portion.
Yes,
So I heard your talk, the meaningful talk, and there are few points now I want to know to make more clear.
Yes.
You use the word change. What's your concept of change?
Change means creating something new or refining something, some previous thing. Change means a transition from old thing to a new thing, or change can also means making something easier or harder than previous one.
Okay. See, it is seen that whenever there is some change, so there is resistance from the societies. It has been throughout the
Yes,
history.
sir.
What is the reason?
There can be many reasons. For example, our mind gets used to a thing, and when there is some evolution in it or some change in it, our mind resists because it is out of our comfort zone. That's the first thing, and the second one can be a religious aspect as well. People fear that their religion is kind of getting changed or tortured or changed. For example. When the loudspeakers were invented,
Yeah.
the clerics thought that it is very unreligious thing, and we can see that nowadays they also use that.
Yeah.
When mobile phones were invented, they were against it.
Yeah.
Even when guns were invented, they thought that it is khilaf sunnah. It is
Yeah.
against the teachings of Prophet used to fought with sword, and
Yeah.
now why can we use guns? When vehicles were invented, they said horse riding is sunnah. We can ride a
Yeah.
vehicle. So there are many aspects. These two, I think, these two reasons, that one is that our mind does not like to get out of the comfort zone, and the second is religious aspect. I think that's these are the main reasons why people resist the change.
Okay, impressive, Marshall. You're talking about that these inventions, actually they are making our life easy. So what's that easy life? What's that?
Easy lives means, I think, in my opinion, it can have many interpretations, but I think it nowadays it means that the same amount of work is done in less time and more efficiently without much human involvement. Human makes their life easy by inventing machines. What machines basically do is that they limit the human involvement. They are controlled by buttons. They limit the physical work from by humans, and I think that's the meaning of easiness.
Excellent. You mentioned university education. How is this now that university education different from rest of all the educational institutions?
I have not been able to go into the university yet, but based on my experience, I have watched videos, I have talked with my friends, and they explain that university life is much more. There's much more discussion between the student and the teacher. In college or in school, the teacher gives lecture, but they don't have much time to interact with the students. For example, in a 40-minute period, the teacher delivers 2 topics or 3 topics, and after that, delivering the 2 or 3 topics, they don't have much time for question and answering. In a university, the session is of 2 to 3 hours or even more sometimes, and that things provide the environment basically where a highly educated person interacts with the students, and that interaction creates understanding, and that understanding is basically the plus point of the universities as compared to school and colleges. If we bring the madrasa into our consideration, but in madrasa, people take madrasa very lightly. There's a one teacher teaching 100 students,
Yeah.
40 students. Even if it's Holy Quran, but it is not the thing. Holy Quran is the best book in the world.
Yeah.
It contains more knowledge than any book in the world.
Yeah.
So how can a single person teach 100 students? And the very bad thing is that teacher teaching in 10,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, which is basically a very little amount. They don't have that motivation. In universities, the teachers are paid in lakhs, so
Yeah.
they have that motivation to teach. I think that's the main difference.
Excellent. No, see, I wish that my country now that must develop, must prosper. What can the universities do for the prosperity, development, and growth of the country?
In this time, I believe the only change we can get is from the universities, because universities already have developed a better structure than schools and colleges. There is comparatively less cramming in universities. They are focusing on skills. Now basically they now know the worth of skills, they know the importance of skills, they are teaching the students the actual skills which matter. They have got out of that useless cramming sessions, cram books and get into the examination center and pass the exams. They are now making a practical work. They are bringing practical work into the field, and I think that's the first step towards a change, a better change for the society. If we are skillful, we can work in every country. If an MBBS doctor has just MBBS degree, but he doesn't know empathy and he doesn't know how to treat a patient efficiently, he cannot work in Pakistan as well. The degree just useless. It's a piece of paper. You cannot say that I am a PhD and then if someone asks you a question and you are unable to reply it. A physics teacher is useless if something related to his field gets gets wrong, gets faulty in his own house, and he needs to call another person who is less educated than him into his house to correct that thing, to remove that fault. So that's why skills are important, and now universities are contributing to a skillful society, and that's a good thing. University must continue to play such a role, so our society, so college and school students should also get education from them.
Excellent. Again, very interesting talk. That we can even prolong it for hours, because you are very creative, mashallah. But as that we are over here just for the sample speaking test, the model speaking test. I'm sure you've understood what the speaking test is. 3 portions are there. First, about your life, about your family background, your study background, and so on. The second, the cue card, and third one, the questions. Now that based on the talk which you give over there, now that in the second portion.
Yes,
I'm sure the concept of speaking test is clear.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.